Hi, I'm Noelle Andressen-Kale. Kale. DanceWarrior, hashtag that. And I am raw, real, uncensored, trademark. Don't take that. What's going on?
Car turned on right
Lock
over
the
there.
doors. And I do a lot of things, actually. As a dance warrior, I didn't realize I'd actually be on a proverbial battlefield. Like, seriously, guys, there's something really interesting going on lately. So I talk about dance. I do dance. I teach dance. Not so much anymore. I hate COVID, so I can't. But I really... I don't want to do it right now. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. Because I've got really snarky people that try to do horrible things to me. Like, that's it. That ain't right. That's enough of that. So anyway. It's all very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I'm reading to you from my book, DanceWarrior series. There's a whole bunch of them in the series. What, 3, 4 published? I don't know. And there's me. Little dance angel warrior. Yeah, glamour. I think I will try that. So I'm reading. Why am I doing this? I want to preface this because I'm not going to falsely accuse, but I'm going to say what I think. And it's my opinion, and I'm allowed to. I hope we're wrong, but we're getting some things through the grapevine that's a little concerning here. So, we published this on CreateSpace. We self-published this with Red Rubans. That's our publishing company. And we uploaded this version to be published. And we got this version, us personally, ourselves. So what I'm concerned about is that Amazon, CreateSpace, those guys. However, somebody, somehow, some way, edited it, and so you, the public, would get one version, but when we order it, we're like, what are you talking about? This is what we have. So I thought, you know what, just in case, to cover all bases, and since you guys seem entertained, listening and watching me read and talk and do videos, I thought, what the heck, I ain't doing nothing better with my time. Nobody is right now, I guess. Some scoundrels around here doing very bad things with their time. I don't like it. But, you know, I thought I might as well do something good. And you know what? There are people I'm talking about in here. I talk about them in a good way. I am not lying, using facetiousness, or being a bitch, or anything like that. We all proofread this book. We made sure legally that it would clear, okay? My husband studies this. This is his area, even. There's nothing in these books that is slanderous or bad. Everything is documented. It can be proven. And even stuff that can be proven that makes people look badly. I didn't put that in here and I even said in the previous chapter, out of respect. See, it says I won't go much into this aspect except to say that it played an incredible role. I chose not to delve into this at this time because it is a sensitive subject for both of us, and out of love and respect, I won't attempt to go into the detail. Here, show this part again. It's the italicized, so get really close on it and make sure it's clear. I just want this very, very well understood, not misrepresented, not, I don't know what else. I don't appreciate someone, if this is true, trying to straw man me or trying to fuel fire for other people. Like if there's somebody who likes somebody in here and then somebody edited it. I'm not saying this is true or factual. We can't get a hold of those copies, but I don't want somebody saying that I wrote badly about somebody in the book when it didn't even happen. This is the published copy that we put up there and we have a copy of. Anything else is erroneous and somebody edited it and screwed everybody over. It wasn't us, okay? Again, this is not a tell-all book. that says bad things about people. It says very good things about people. So I'm setting it all right. I don't roll that way. Okay? The way I roll is honest and loving. I don't have any desire to portray anybody in a bad light. So this is evidence, and that's why I'm reading this book, just in case somebody did that, because that's horrible, and we will sue somebody who did that. And, you know, it was uploaded on an Amazon Create Space thing. They disappeared for a while, and they totally, right? They went out of business, and then they came back, I guess?
Yeah.
Why did they do that? So they could delete something, or you know what? But we're gonna find out. We already informed the government of weird stuff going on, so you know, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah. So, you know, Barnacles of Hope, Chapter 3. Our hope must be like a barnacle and cling to all that's good. Dance is the heartbeat in which my soul resonates to. Music. Oh, let me finish this. Sorry. Music is the carriage in which it sojourns to leave behind heart imprints embedded on the stage of humanity, and thus I dance, and thus I hope. That's from me quoting one of my videos and other things. So another reason why I'm doing this is because, you know, I care about the bee-fly. I care about my mentors in this book who I mentioned. I want to look upon them well. It doesn't mean that everything went well. Nothing ever goes 100% well with any human being. Oh yeah, there's drama. And once all this stuff that's made public, because it should be, for other reasons, you know, that's a different story. But, you know, oh, here's your pop. But for now, this is where we are. And for now, this is what the story is. The last time we saw Nana was in November 2007. And you want to show a picture of Nana? That was the last time we saw her. Bless her heart. Okay, how did we do?
Well, they don't have a hibiscus tea. They have some a hibiscus very berry refresher thing.
Oh wait, it's passion fruit tea.
Oh, passion fruit tea. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So it took me
Can you get that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I thought it was called hibiscus.
Hibiscus passion fruit. Oh yeah, I can see.
Okay, chapter 3. Hope. What an ominous and mysterious word, hope. The messages from the bee-fly caused me to seriously contemplate and question where I had placed my peace, which was a product of hope. When did I lose it, and how can I find it again? The answer, too, I survived cancer, now what? Had a short-term goal attached to it. Create a dance for my husband. That was all I needed to focus on at the moment. But the reality was that my mind was scattered and worried about my bond with my husband being strained, and the what-ifs. What if I cannot do this? What if he doesn't like it? What if he doesn't get what I'm trying to say to him? During that time, when either of us spoke, we collided harshly, and intense rounds of arguments that led to fights ensued. Here we go.
Here you go.
We were both sensitive and emotionally raw from the experience at the clinic. We were drained from having to combat cancer like a World War veteran suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. It had tested us both beyond what we had faced previously, something that I don't feel any couple should have to face. Nobody should have to face that. There are enough troubles in our world that did and would still barrage us and other families. Fighting an enemy such as this seemed crueler than what humans should have to deal with. The final outcome that we survived is unbelievable. Oh, you uploading it?
I can't do that while you're working on this at the moment.
You can't?
No, I'm trying to not disrupt the video by having the computer screen in the shot.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm serious. Don't worry about it. We just gotta get this done.
Okay. Phone. Where is that? Do you
I
have
don't
it?
have it.
I don't. I don't have it.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have it here. If it's up here, it's buried under mounds of items. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
Yeah,
have it.
buried under mounds of items.
Okay. The final outcome that we survived was unbelievable. Even with all this against us, we both had love in our hearts to want to try, and that made all the difference. For him, he chose a path of patience that was not always executed with perfection. He tended to run away and anesthetize himself with anything that would allow him to avoid facing truth. His drug of choice was negligence. This was the weakness in his character that had plagued him often. For me, I chose to convey my thoughts and emotions with dance. My mouth was a double-edged sword that spoke the truth and would edify others and set them free, but it could also hurt with its piercing drive. This was my weakness. It doesn't mean that just because I have a weakness that I actually fall prey to it all the time, or if at all. With dance, I could get my ideas across without my big mouth to mess it up, or his reaction to those words to break my heart. At this current time, we have both greatly improved and have a union that is strong and respectable. My next ominous question after this dance, what next? I couldn't see a future. I didn't know how to heal my past or my relationship with my husband, but was attempting to do so with dance. At that point, I could only think about God and the physical and not the spiritual because of my anger. I was furious at God for allowing so much loss and so much hurt to come into my family's life. This wasn't part of the plan. It never was. Now we had a huge mess, and I felt abandoned and forgotten with it on my shoulders. Knowing where your footing is in this world helps to navigate it. My footing was challenged, and I was knocked off my center. I had to place my hope in something greater than dance and greater than myself so I could have peace. Yet our hope must be like a barnacle and cling to all that's good. We must place our trust in something seen or unseen. The only thing I could think of that was purely good in this world was God. I chose to cling to God for the moment. I felt him pushing me to dance and create a dance. With that, I took a deep breath and held it in. I placed my hand on my heart. It was beating. Even in the stillness of breath, there is life. Upon that acknowledgement, I exhaled, and with determination, I stood up. Let's just start with these small steps first, I told myself, but not seriously thinking anything else would come of these first small steps. When my husband went to work, I would secretly craft this dance gift for him. Excitement and frustration were my silent partners, and joy and sorrow ran the race alongside of me. The steps came out wrong, my execution of them limited, and my body nowhere is I'm gonna put those. Thank you, love.
Yeah. Here.
My body nowhere near what it used to be. I was a living echo of my past, haunted by photos of greatness in my memory. What I wanted to do and what I could do were very opposite things at that time. I lost most of my mobility, flexibility, knowledge, courage, and strength. All I had at that time was a willingness to do it, and that made all the difference. It became very dizzying to war with my desire and the factual reality. I would put the music on and try again and again to make something cohesive, anything that would work. It just wasn't working, and I wasn't even sure what I was trying to say to my husband. Why were the steps not coming out? Why couldn't I communicate with my movements? Why was I so terrible? Had I truly lost it all? Why don't I just give up this silly and absurd notion anyway? However, sometimes you have to walk on the brink of absurdity to discover a moment of genius, or in my case, I'd settle for some halfway decent choreography. With that, I realized what was in the past had to stay there, and I had to move on. I recalled what my beloved dance instructor said to me upon numerous occasions. I was starting from scratch, and indeed another complete beginning. The reality of what I had lost never sank in so harshly. I lost my health, I lost my home, I lost my dancing, I lost everything except my family. I went to our computer and I reread the B-Fly's email. My eyes swelled up with tears. I tried to choke them down, but just as soon as that thought occurred to me, the wetness burst and escaped down my cheeks. Someone I loved, find peace in it all. Her words hit me harder the second time I read them. A sense of peace? She had no idea what I was struggling with, or so I thought, trying to convince myself that this beautiful woman would not penetrate my heart. She actually hit my heart precisely where the target was, at my reality, my truth. Darn it, how did she know this about me? I thought I hid it so well. She was correct, though. I needed to find a sense of peace about it all somehow. This dance was a love gift from my husband. I needed to focus on that and not the technique of the steps or the execution of the steps. I had to let go of what I lost and stop grappling for it so I could embrace what was presenting itself now. I needed to release and heal the past so I could have a future with my husband that would be grounded in a deeper love than before the cancer. Since I'm never one to let myself feel self-pity or sorrow, I gave myself the 10-minute grieving window I often permitted for myself, and I picked myself up again and began creating some absurd movements, knowing I probably wouldn't use any of it, but I had to press forward and break out of my self-inflicted jail cell. It was all going to be different this time around with my dancing. Cancer made me a new person, much like going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Not in the nasty, sick sense of menopause and all this nasty stuff that's going on, but I'm talking about the beauty that God sees with this metaphor. Like Jesus God, not false God. With a few abstract pieces of choreography, I was able to come up with a dance phrase. It was not my best work, but it was. Why don't you show that? It's not so bad here if you want to chill for a little bit.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Lock the door.
Do you need the lower arm?
Yeah, we need it on for right now.
Baby, look what I did.
There you go.
I put this on my head and play a rooster.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
It was not my best work, but it was something to springboard off of. I was just making a bullet mess. After about an hour reworking choreography, stretching, and conditioning, I collapsed onto the couch by the window. This new dance in the ballet class was extremely challenging for my little framed body, and I was still dealing with recovering from my treatment, including other ailments. I was exhausted. The next day, I would be able to test out my choreography in the dance studio at the college. I pulled the burgundy curtains aside and watched a light breeze traipse through the mulberry tree branches. A flying shadow caught my eye. I wondered if it was a friendly, fluttering visitation in the midst of a Southern California autumn. It was a monarch butterfly. Oh my accent's coming out. I must be tired. Made an appearance and did a brief, airy dance, perhaps my interpretation of a little bow. Yes, and flew swiftly away. Its presence gave me a sense of hope, something I hadn't felt in quite a long time. Not even surviving cancer instilled this in me. It took the words of a beautiful stranger and infinitesimal appearances of butterflies as subtle reminders of beautiful transformations yet to come to get me to have hope. I had never paid much attention to butterflies and can't recall seeing them in my youth, but I must have seen them as I grew up in the Garden State of New Jersey, where flowers were in abundance. I wasn't a prissy girl on the inside, but I loved dance and loved sports. I just did it all in dresses and matching hair bows. I even shunned seeing butterfly or rose printed anything in our home. It just wasn't for me. In my adulthood, I found myself captivated by these dainty creatures and had a change of heart towards them, and roses almost instantly after the cancer. My face creased with a huge smile as I sat up to see if I could possibly catch another glance of it. It was gone, but the school was there in my sight, and sullenness quickly replaced my joy. Why does my heart sink when I look at it? It was perplexing to think about how and why we found ourselves living across the street from this institution, the school. I was an Emmy-nominated screenwriter, producer, and musician. Living here and going back to school was absurd. Not thinking with prideful intention, but it weighed heavy upon my heart that it was no accident and had to have purpose and meaning, something I didn't understand yet. I've come to believe that there are no coincidences. I do think that our lives are masterfully shaped like a potter with the clay. All things in life, no matter how insignificant they may seem to us, have intention and purpose. Each of our actions and reactions cause others to respond and react, and certain chain of events unfold, and options present themselves. One slight variation or deviation can change a multitude of elements in our lives. Turning left instead of right can mean the difference of saving someone's life or taking it, accidentally. No matter how unintentional our intentions are, I've learned since to tread carefully. I rested my chin on the back of our couch and contemplated what this all meant on the grand stage called the universe. I knew what I felt in my heart. I knew what I wanted to do short term. I knew I had to because I was compelled. What exactly was... Here you go, baby.
There you go.
What exactly was compelling me? I could not tell you or anyone at the time. I had this anchor in my heart that I'd rather not have had. I wanted to travel lightly, and this was a daunting burden that showed no mercy. My broken body was so weakened, dancing was so difficult. I didn't want any new heart connections. I didn't want to risk trusting anyone or loving anyone, mostly out of fear of being hurt again, and then also not knowing if I would live long enough to enjoy any other relationships. Best not get too involved, I told myself, but what we want, what we desire doesn't always make sense or are not tangible things that we understand and adhere to. We can start things for one reason and finish them for other reasons, or as Forrest Gump said, sometimes we just do things that don't make any sense. This may be one of those things. As I said, I was compelled to go forward and do what I was doing. This woman, this beautiful stranger, the bee-fly, was in my life whether I liked it or not. She presented to me, most likely unknowingly, something I didn't want to face or deal with, myself. I didn't want to let anyone in, and yet the thorn in my heart that slipped in the first day I met her was throbbing and caused me to let her in against my will. So, when I say I had to deal with myself, not that I was a bad person who did bad things. I just didn't want anybody near me or in my heart, and yet I knew that that's not what God wants. He wants us to be social beings and to love people and help. It was very hard for me to do that. Peace. How did she know about my lack of peace? Did it show? Did I give it away too easily in my emails? Why did I trust her? Why did she trust me? Why did she care so much? Why didn't I push her away like I did everyone else? At last, this is where I dragged a spiritual God into the equation when he should have been dragged into it at first. I called out to God, why have you brought me here to this school? What is it I'm supposed to do? What do these butterflies mean? What are you trying to tell me? Just then I remembered what I had said and promised upon 2 occasions. Once was when I was in the midst of an intense fever during my cancer treatment and passing from this life. I was bargaining with God and pleaded with him, as we all often do when faced with death. If you save my life, I will become a fisher of men for you. I will fight for wounded souls, broken hearts, and anyone lost to give them hope. The second time, when I gained my freedom and stepped out of the cancer clinic, my first battle had been won. God, thank you for healing me. To show my gratitude to you for saving my life, I will become a fisher of men. We're all supposed to do that. This is something my Nana had spoken to me about many times, to be grateful to something greater than ourselves. She would remind me, it's not an instrument of execution that hangs from a gold chain around my neck. It is a symbol of God's love and sacrifice for humanity. We used this line in one of our scripts in 1998. She wanted me to be humble and to always be respectful and give thanks to those that deserved it. However, it would quickly be forgotten by me, and instead I responded in trepidation. Please just let me be. I'm too broken to do anything for anyone. I am of no use and of no good to anyone in this condition. Plus, this woman doesn't need me. She's fine, and I'm fine and that's that. I was like, I didn't want to be her friend, but yet she wanted to be my friend. And yet she didn't want to be my friend, and yet I wanted to be her friend. You know, it was a weird, I don't know why. Here, why don't you show this one?
Is it not focusing? Yeah.
So when you upload these, you might also want to put a little caption why we're doing this in the description.
Okay.
And say, just in case Amazon is giving a printed copy to one group, you know, to buyers, and then giving us the actual version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll help you word that if you need it. Oh, I'm almost done with chapter 3. Or so I coerced myself into believing, but my attempts convincing God into siding with me and seeing things my way wasn't going to work. This would become apparent later on. The fall months are still bringing the hot weather, however, I look at this so differently now. However, this dance studio felt colder than it usually did. The floor reminded me of ice. Oh my God. You hear all this?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know from Adam all this stuff, and now I know, and I'm like, oh, that's a hint drop, and it wasn't meant to be. I looked around and felt a dark presence. To this day, I do not know what it was, but it was not good. I think there were cameras in those studios recording everything at every moment. I don't know, guys. I have a good sense of evil, even if it's coming from a camera lens. To this day, I do not know what it was, but it was not good. I appreciated being able to work on this dance piece, but I didn't feel secure in this space. Something about this entire place rattled my spirit, but this is where I was planted. See, even back then, I knew something was just off. These walls could probably share a million secrets, but I didn't want to know any of them. I set the CD player on the floor, started the music, and danced. Occasionally, the bee-fly would check in on me. I don't think she knew that I was aware of her watching me at times. Not that I minded very much, but I could sense her presence, and it gave me strength. It also gave me joy to watch her dance in class. You could tell that she was a beautiful dancer when she was younger. Not that her current age detracted from her skill, but I would say sorrow from the years weighed her down. My heart hurt for her in this respect. I wanted to do everything I could to bring some joy in her life, to reciprocate the peace she hoped for in mine. With every opportunity, I would help her set the bars up in class, smile, say hello, and all the little things that can make a heart lighter. Unbeknownst to me, each little thing caused a thorn in my heart to burrow deeper and forced the light in my heart to grow and shine outwardly to her and others. So strangely enough as it was, God used her in a sense to break down my wall. And because I didn't want to behave, you know, kind of snobbish and all of that, I forced myself, you know. Unnerving as it was, I just let it settle inside, never imagining that it would continue to flourish and least of all hurt. Every once in a while it would hurt so much that I had to rub it and press against it with the ball of my palm. I did this when the MVP would act up as well. A strange connection. So I don't even know if all those things that I got was spiritual, physical. I mean, I got tests done and it said that I still had this.
Go.
It was like, the more I pushed myself physically and toned my heart and everything like that, just, I don't even notice it. I don't even think I have it anymore. I can't. I don't have anything with that, I don't think. As requested by the B-Fly to get a doctor's clearance note on November 30th, 2007, we were in Vegas to visit my cardiologist. He was a well-respected specialist and helpful with my situation. So, I have that note still. And copies. We have it in many places, safe places. So, yeah. He was well-respected specialist and helpful with my situation. After the Doppler, EKG, ultrasound, and other exams, he concluded what we already knew since my first diagnosis in 1993 under another specialist. I had advanced stage of mitral valve prolapse. It had gotten worse since it was first detected, but there wasn't much I could do. The only reason I was there was to appease the V-Fly. The dancing was helping this condition, not exacerbating it. To this day, I'm still perplexed why she had an issue with this and why she was so adamant about my seeking physical clearance note. I found out later from the school and also from my husband, as my husband pursued a new career in law, that this is not legal to ask anyone for this information. I tend to think that perhaps she had prior students who lied to her prolifically about their medical conditions to gain favor, attention, or used an excuse so they could give less than full 100% in effort in class or something. So I couldn't blame her for having, it's a typo, says having concerns, or perhaps she truly was concerned for me and didn't want me to pass out and die in her class. Not that that was even likely, but here you go. Next. What a mess the whole thing was. I have it all documented, but I didn't do anything wrong.
Am I doing right? Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I was not doing either attention-seeking or trying to gain favor. I was a full-grown woman, nowhere near my teens or 20s, with a husband and son. Attention-seeking in a community college class wasn't even in my thoughts when I had already been on beautiful professional performance stages. Most of the time, I felt like the character in Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue Got Married, in which the character goes back to her high school days in the 1950s and relives it all as an adult. This oddity was one that I had to let go of and put on the shelf for a time to remain unanswered. After the hard exams and paying a down payment on my medical bill, which was over $1,000, I went to see my Nana at the adult care home. I was very nervous about seeing her, what she would look like, the weight loss affecting her beauty and vitality, and how I would respond troubled me. Her cancer had returned for a second time, and save for my speaking to her on the phone, I hadn't seen her for almost 2 years. My husband, son, and I stepped out of our SUV and took a deep breath. My husband squeezed my hand, which still is a quiet gesture that secretly reminds me, breathe, you've got this. We knocked on the door and a sweet Mexican lady welcomed us. Food and beverages were offered to us immediately, and there was Nana sitting perched on the couch with enormous bright eyes behind her large eyeglasses. She was so cute. Reminds me of that character in one of the Star Wars movies, the newer ones. Remember that one? And she gives Rey the lightsaber, and she had these big eyes.
Yeah, I remember that.
With the goggles or whatever. I was like, oh, funny. It was a woman and a female character, like a CGI Muppet type thing. It was like, Nana! Not that my grandmother looked like that, but it was the eyeglasses, you know. This made me chuckle because she adored large-rimmed eyewear that made her look like a spunky librarian from the 1980s. She had lost a lot of weight, but it didn't detract. Age does not detract from the beauty of a rose. Nana was a rose. All the ladies in my family were small-frame, petite beauties. Our son and I dove into our arms as my husband looked on. He was ushered to another couch and was followed by a plate of food. I remember that. Something in common with the Italians, which my family is, and the Mexicans. They love to show hospitality and serve food of the Lord. We love these people who were taking good care of Nana. I told Nana that I was dancing again and how hard I was working. She loved to hear all of this as we reminisced about our backyard in New Jersey. She was thrilled to hear how her grandson was succeeding in school. Her little potato, she never said potato, it was always potato, was now a young teen. We were all doing fairly well. I wanted very much to share with Nana that I had undergone treatment for my cancer, but I didn't want to worry her or drag her down. She needed all the strength and good vibes she could get. Plus, I was relatively fine for the moment. I was alive and dancing again. She never knew that I was diagnosed with the disease while I was taking her for her radiation treatments in Las Vegas before we sold our home. Nana knew we had to leave and get back to LA. She gave me a wonderful hug and kiss. Live well, and listen to your teacher. Bye, Angel. Angel is my special name that she often called me. She said it with strength and love. Her eyes looked at me as if it would be the last time I would see her. And that is the end of chapter 3, but let's show everybody. Do you have my drink?
There you go.
My drink?
Yes.
Lincoln?
Here's the book.
Thank you.
Alright, is that it?
I don't know, maybe.
Alright, well, let's close the video.
Okay, yeah, close the video. Me close the video. So Noelle, Rose, Andressen-Kale, sending you the love. Thank you. Bless you. And I might read one more chapter tonight. I don't know. I want to get this done just in case something really terrible and evil is happening, and I'm not that aware of it. But like I said, there's some things coming through the grapevine that I don't like hearing, and I just want to put anything. I want to put anything asunder that's evil, you know. Okay, that's all. Bless you. Bye.